Let's see who's sponsoring tonight's Hazmat Guys Roundtable. Hazmat 101 Consultants. Hazmat 101 Consultants and their instructors can provide quality consulting and virtual or in-person hazardous materials training for your agency. Owner and lead instructor Bob Cascignano is also available for lecturing at your fire or hazmat conference and has in fact done many speaking engagements across the country. Visit their site at www.hazmatconsultants.com or email Bob Cascignano at bob@hazmat101consultants.com. For over 20 years, K&R Plaques have had the pleasure of helping clients choose awards for the people they want to honor. Their state-of-the-art equipment allows clients to design, customize, and personalize the awards they choose for that special someone. With one of the largest selections of plaques, awards, trophies, and clothing apparel, they can deliver quality products to satisfy any customer needs. No order is too big or too small. Visit their website at www.knrplaques.com or email at sales@knrplaques.com. Responder Training. RTE is the leading company in delivering propane training along with emergency response equipment. Responder Training has many propane flaring kits, water injection kits, accessories, and replacement parts available. They also sell the only commercially available 1-inch propane flare kit, appropriately named the Dragon Slayer, because size does matter. Contact our good friend, owner instructor Ron Huffman for more information. You can reach him at 765-524-4848. You can email Ron at respondertraining.rdh.gmail.com or peruse his website at respondertraining.com. Northeast Hazmat has your supplies for leaks. Easy vac pumps, stingers, hoses, rupture seals, and now carrying fire blankets and hazmat apparel. If you'd like to sponsor the show and help keep live hazmat conversations coming in the future and help send at least one lucky participant to a national level hazmat conference, send an email to bob@thehazmatguys.com and he'll send you the information. Thanks a lot. Now on with the show.
And good evening, everybody. What's happening? We're going to do happy third for the happy fourth that we won't be on tomorrow night. So here's a great US of A, and everybody out there, stay safe.
Cheers.
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 And a moment of silence for all those who will not have 10 fingers by the weekend.
True. Very true. Very true.
You keep the world entertaining for the rest of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am Bob Cascignano, a.k.a. The Kosh, with Jeff Zintek, Mike Monaco. I always get that asked to me. I'm like,
a rose by any other name smells just as sweet.
And Bobby Savison, who is on a current assignment. He's probably watching and cursing, wishing he was with us right now, but he's on a very important mission, which is way more important than us Three Stooges. So we will be seeing him and talking to him later, perhaps. So how's everybody doing?
I am doing absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah.
With my troll shirt.
Patriotic.
My gnomes. Sorry, these are gnomes.
Dude, that and the hair just sets it off. You were definitely fitting in a retirement gig.
I was fitting in. Ask any of the guys at the firehouse. I was fitting in like 6 years ago. Yeah, yeah. When I hit that FU time, you know that time that you could retire. Yeah, yes. The guys were like, "How does it feel to have FU time?" I'm like, I don't know what's the difference, because I would have told anybody how I felt at any given point in time anyway. So
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I had numbers in my locker, and there was a GFY next to the number I had to get to. And when I got to it, that's when I said GFY.
Yeah, you know, for us, it was just not a problem because, you know, I tried so hard to do extra projects like summer boats and things like that. And they're like, no, with all your hazmat training, we've invested tens of thousands of dollars into you. We can't put you out on the boats. I was like, well, if you've invested tens of thousands of dollars in me and you can't get rid of me, that means I can say and do whatever the hell I want and ain't nothing going to happen to me. So Challenge accepted.
That's right.
Challenge accepted.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So before we, there was a recent run that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but before we want to do a little recap of Baltimore. Jeff, we missed you immensely as always. But we had the winners. Benny, can you put the pictures up, or picture, please, of our Hazmat Guys Roundtable sponsorship? There's the 2 mugs right there in the white shirts.
Yes,
I'm
Dude,
thinking I gotta call somebody called out the threw out the flag on one, the skinny kid between me and Derek.
Yes,
he's a member on the job. I think on your rig or something.
Yes,
right?
he is. He
member or something.
He is. He is. Boy, how long has he been there? He's been there like 2 or 3 months.
Nice kid.
Yeah,
nice kid.
Great kid. Really getting into it. Really taking the bull by the horns. Was gonna come to. He was like, I was gonna come either way. Our department did not sponsor him or was going to pay for it, so he was gonna come anyway. He was just more than excited to win the scholarship.
Yeah, he's I got a chance to talk to him in the suite a little bit, and seemed like he's definitely a go-getter. So both the guys that won, congratulations. I am ashamed to say I forgot your names. New guy 1, new guy 2, or something like that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
no,
Mike knows who they are. Mike, what's the name of the guy?
Well, hold on a second. I know him. I actually know him. I only know him as the character from Ratatouille.
Okay. Yeah.
But, and that's how you know that you have young kids in your life, Bob, because you just laughed at that. He is Linguini Alfredo, who is the character that the mouse cooks and controls, and that is the only name that I recognize. I think it's Mike something.
Yeah.
Oh God, right. I don't know.
He's
Mike
screaming at the.
No.
He's screaming at the computer right now. Mike, I can't believe you forgot my name.
Whalen, Mike Whalen.
That's it. He's like, I've been here so long.
Yeah.
No, dude, I totally know that movie. My grandson watches it like 5 times a day.
Yes.
So, but anyway, congratulations, both you guys. Thanks for participating, and for those watching, we will be doing it again. We may even be talking about trying to sponsor more than one. So stay tuned for that. But also, there was, if you look at the QR codes on these guys' shirts here, if you weren't able to go to Baltimore for the conference, something new this year, Bobby and Mike put together this hazmat hunt thing that was a huge success.
I can honestly say I can't really take much credit for it. You really can't say Bob and Mike. It was more Bob and because this was one of those ideas. You know how batshit crazy Bob is. This was one of those ideas that popped in his head, and he pretty much ran it start to finish, and it was only a success because of him. So mad props to Bob on this, and I would love to throw my name in and be like, oh yeah, I was part of that, but I pretty much just picked up the beer for the party.
Take note, everybody. Mike is being gracious.
Yeah.
Not at all.
He's being very gracious.
To give Salvo big props, he had some things going on at the time, and he was chuckling so much shit.
He was. He really was.
And he pulled it off because that's the kind of guy he is. So
yeah.
But yeah, so those that weren't able to participate, the hazmat hunt was it was a scavenger hunt, and you had to find certain things or certain people. And I think one of the stipulations was you couldn't tell them what you were doing, and you had to get a picture with like Christina or something like that.
Yes, actually,
that made it even better.
I have the text message from Baxter, which occurred. Let's see, we started this on Thursday, right? So about Thursday, 5 o'clock at night, I received a text message that was something along the lines of, "You stupid MFers. How could you not tell me I was part of a scavenger hunt? I have all these people wanting to take selfies with me, and I just found out why."
That was the best.
So yeah, she was
the best.
She was completely unaware of her roles and responsibility. But that's, you know what,
that's what it's about.
We talked to so many people. Bob was really able to drum up a tremendous amount of new enthusiasm for the conference. There were people that were competing with each other. They were having fun. They were having a good time. I mean, listen, most people have a good time anyway, but let's be real. It is a hazmat conference still. There is a certain level of I'd rather hang myself than go to a hazmat class. And then to go to 3 full days of hazmat classes is beyond wanting to hang yourself. So to bring in a level of a competition among the entire organization, there was a lot of interaction with the people that participated and the vendors. So it was good all around. Everybody felt the energy, and it was a lot of fun. The only complaint that I have on it is, yes, Bob had a tremendous amount of stuff going on, and and I was there for the first half of the conference, and he put the password as the password is password. So to try to get people to understand that, no, the password isn't password, the password is password, was a very difficult thing to do. Very time consuming. And I got a lot of very crazy. Right. They're like, yeah, the password is password. I'm like, yeah, the password is password. Well, I put in password. It didn't accept it. I'm like, no, you have to type in password is password. But
it was good. It was good stuff. There were some good prizes that were awarded.
Yes, there were.
There was Ron Huffman's Flare Off kit. I think was one of them. The Hazmat Guys podcast
subscriptions.
Subscription, right? Am I missing something else? I'm missing something else.
There was a couple of other things. Oh, Peak,
that's it. I knew it was missing
Peak gave out a few subscriptions. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And no, we had a great time. First Line sponsored the after party for it. So
thank you, Amit, and everybody for that.
Yeah, Amit did a phenomenal job. We used some of their props as beer coolers, so he was very excited to see that. We will make anything work, right? You give us anything, and we will absolutely make it work. So it was a great time. What were your thoughts on the conference as a whole? Goods, bads, indifference?
The only thing in it bad, and it wasn't even the conference fault. It wasn't Baltimore's fault. It was just a smoke coming down from Canada. And really, I felt I was back in Florida for all the brush fires we have every year. But that was it, man. I mean, there was a ball game going on. I love going to Baltimore. That is, all the conferences we go to are great. They're absolutely great. But that's, it's just it's such a vibe, like you were saying, to it. And I have nothing bad to say about it. It's a phenomenal conference.
You'd have to be a total savage to miss it. Jeff, how did you like it?
Oh, it was fantastic. Fantastic. I love that. I do like going to Baltimore, though. Yeah. I do like going to Baltimore, though. Next year. It's been it just hasn't worked out the last couple, but next year for sure.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't happen, but
we did.
It's great. It's a great venue. You know what? And everyone strives to go there, and I think it's the area stuff that's around there, and the how big it is, and all the people that all the instructors that come there. It's really kind of like that's it. That's the place. So yeah. I mean, sorry I missed the last two, but I'll be maybe next year.
So there's a question that popped up from Dave Wood. Will you be doing something similar to Baltimore in Massachusetts at Foxborough Stadium? I don't know the answer to that question. Do you, Mike, or are we top secret right now?
It's a super strong maybe.
Okay, super strong maybe. That's good. Leave it there.
Super strong maybe.
Super strong maybe.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So
because there are definitely some lessons learned, and we are taking those lessons and we're wrapping them into the next one, to make it even more competitive and more strike up more of that like excitement to actually do it.
Yeah. And I know that conference in Massachusetts is coming up, moving from Plymouth to Boston.
Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
Gillette Stadium.
There's still they're working out some final details. I talked to Travis the other day. They're working out some final things, but looking forward to that, because it's always good before we beat this to death. It's always good to see your buddies.
Yep.
And meet new buddies. And that's the best part of it all right there.
And just to be really like, and I'll say this because we always try to push the various conferences that are out there. But for me, what was the Massachusetts conference holds a very special place in my heart, and they are rebranding themselves as the New England Conference. So
nice.
if you're in the area, even if you're not in the area and you're like, yeah, but it's just a state conference. No, it's being bumped in its size to a regional conference. Now, what does that mean to somebody who might be looking to go to a conference? Well, the difference between a hyper-local conference and a regional conference usually means that your the size and span of the different classes that are offered have increased. You get something that is much closer, albeit a little bit smaller than Baltimore, but you get the top-notch instructors that are out there. You get some of the latest and greatest information that is out there, and you get to talk with people that you wouldn't normally get to interact with on tiny conferences. So if you are anywhere in the East Coast, I highly recommend making your way up to the New England Conference. If anything, it's in Gillette Stadium, which how can you go wrong having a hazmat conference in a football field?
Yeah, that's the first time for that, so that'll be good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, without further ado, anything else about the conference, Mike?
No. I think. One complaint. All
right, I'll wear something different next year.
No, they used to do it. They used to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, closing on Saturday.
Right. Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I could have sworn they
on Sunday.
Yeah, I could have sworn they closed on Saturday, and that felt so much better because I don't know. I don't know.
We were Derek and I were very fortunate to have been asked to be the closers for Sunday, so we were very happy and appreciative of having that opportunity. So
yeah, how was that experience?
It was good. When you get the call from a couple of the big daddies and they say, "Hey, would you like to do this?" I'm, absolutely. It was good. It was really good. It was good.
What was the topic?
The politics of hazmat.
Okay. How do you start? All right. So you were the closer. How long was the speech? Or the lecture?
I think we were at about an hour and a half. We've got two versions of it. One's a little bit longer. Not much, but I think we were right about an hour and a half ish. And it covers a good deal of stuff. And not to go into the whole thing, but the synopsis of it is that, we talk about politics in life, but there's politics in the fire service. Well, let's break that down further, because now there's politics in special ops. We'll break that down even further. Now it's politics in hazmat. And how do you deal with the politicians, i.e. the fire chief, the mayors, the so on, building internal relationships, external relationships, the resources that are outside, just the whole gamut from one end of the spectrum to the other. And it was really good. We got a lot of good feedback. And like I said, Derek and I were very honored to have been asked to do that.
Yeah, that's huge. How do you start putting together a closing, or even an opening, a closing, a midway? Like, where do you start?
Obviously it's a concept first. And I talked to a friend of mine, and he had a few ideas, and he gave me some information, and then we just kind of built from there. Like, where does it need to go? More importantly, what's the audience we're trying to reach? From the tailboard firefighter to the chief of department, and trying to fill each gap within that to make sure that we hit everybody's expectations. And it's just a process. I mean, we worked on it for a long time. We had done it one other time, so this is only the second time we'd done that, and so that makes it even a little more nerve-wracking.
Sure,
but yeah, it was good. It was real good.
So just curious, do you do it from the perspective of the, like you said, the tailboard people, but then the other side as the people who are asking the questions who are not involved in hazmat? So are you doing that from both sides? And
yeah,
because you're kind of not on the other side. I mean, you're kind of like the,
right.
But are you taking? How do you do that other side? How do you talk about what they throw at us.
We started off, Derek and I, about how we both got to Station 1 and the politics of coming into what we used to call, you know, you're getting called up to the big leagues, you know, is what Station 1 was with the special ops stuff. And the politics to get there. And then once you're there, you know, the different roles that we've played, you know, we were both hazmat lieutenants. I was a hazmat training lieutenant. So I could see the management side of a lot of issues and the field side, obviously, of different issues. And just, so I was able, well, he was too, because he ran the program for the tech program at Valencia for a while. So he had those experiences. So it was just a mix of things we've dealt with and other things that we've talked to people and how they've dealt with and how to put the bug in their ear of somebody before you go into the room, so you're not trying to present something at the last second and they have no idea what you're talking about. Matter of fact, one of the slides is somebody talking, you know, in a foreign language, and it's like, this is what they hear when we're talking hazmat. You know, that's essentially. So as Bobby and Mike say, you know, with their podcasts, you know, they talk things down to a 4th or 5th grade level. You know, so just how you do that and making the external relationships with, you know, your LEPCs, your grant funding people, your FEMA people, you know, all of that stuff. So it's we cover a wide range of topics, but you know, basically at the end, we're wrapping it up. It's, you know, building relationships is what it all boils down to.
Awesome.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah, we're good for it. So anyway, so let's go into a little run that I was passed over to me, and that some of you probably have heard about this little white powder thing at the White House. Just happened like what, 24 hours? I think I'm looking at here, maybe.
Man, I got to turn on the news once in a while.
Really?
Director Ben is on the ball again. He's got pictures and everything. You're the bestest.
Yeah. First I heard of it.
Yeah, so they got dispatched to a suspicious package on the premises. They shut down the Secret Service, shut down the White House area and evacuated, so on and so forth. It turned out to be positive for cocaine hydrochloride, highly addictive illegal drug, and the Secret Service, you know, has their own hazmat team. I'm not sure.
Cocaine in DC?
I'm not sure if our
Bush Jr. must have been backing down
or not. And so if Kenny was there, then I'll try and reach out with him and get some more information. But basically, they ran a white powder call to unknown substance, tested it, and that's what they came up with. But it brings up a fact of where we're trying to go with this, how we've gone from the powder calls of October 01, which some listening probably weren't born yet or had just been born maybe, to where we are now. Because I remember me and my mentor, Toby Bevilacco, we were doing suspicious powder calls and testing it literally on the tailboard with an old Hazcat kit. And we had powder flying here. We really had we had some procedures, not a lot. We didn't have all the fancy shit we got now. Matter of fact, there was a little bit of yellow stuff on the door. And the procedure was, as soon as you get something, you collect it and send it to the lab we have in Tampa. So we arrived on scene this particular incident, and the truckies had cut the door off the car. And I'm like, why did you do that? And they're like, well, it's powder. We're supposed to collect it. And I'm like, first off, we live in Florida. It's called pollen. Right? And they just destroyed this.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I said, besides, the lab's not going to take that, but nice try. But anyway, we've progressed from doing that to, I mean, then we went into 2020 kits. We went into the ramp, which is how I met Emery. You know, we went into all these different things to where we got now, you know, 908s. We've got, you know, all these different, all this stuff. And what I have to caution everybody on, and this is my cautious little soapbox, don't go for the hazmat easy button. Get a procedure, an algorithm that you test, you do this, whatever. And then, you know, by process of elimination, don't just go right for, I have this cool tool, I'm going to put it on there, because it may not be it or whatever. I think we've got too many firefighters nowadays that get all these cool gadgets and they're great. They're great tools. I've used plenty of them, but you still have to come up with, if you don't already have one, a systematic process of testing the white powders.
Yeah.
Because you can screw up a lot of stuff. Your experiences, because we were doing 30 or 40 a day back then, with just, like I said, a HazCat kit.
Right.
And now we got all sorts of stuff. What were you guys doing?
Well, for us, go ahead, Mike.
No, go.
No, we just had, we had basically we had a white powder matrix, and we just followed the matrix, and it's kind of like that yes/no thing. You start out basically with credible threat, non-credible threat, but we did, like you said, we did progress. We went into the spectrometer machines, the Ramens and whatnots, but the thing is, you're running on so many things, and a lot of it you can just kind of like throw out because of whether it's credible or not. A big giant bunch of powder on the corner of 24th Street and McDowell, for us, everyone's freaking out because of what's happening.
Right.
And it's like, nah, I just don't think they're gonna, first of all, make that much. It's, and who are they gonna get with this? So by process of elimination and just being smart about stuff, you can actually kind of, we could kind of like eliminate a lot of this stuff, but getting into the more higher, sophisticated machines, like the Raman meter and the MX 908, and I mean, it's made our job a lot easier.
Oh,
it
for
really
sure.
has, because really the problem with, like you said, the HazCat kit is just keeping up with it, and it's not only keeping fresh with how to run things through it, but all your chemicals expired. And you just have to, and it's really hard to maintain that kit. It's the same with the 2020 kit. So many of the stuff that we would test would come out protein, because it is a protein.
Right.
And then they would say it on the radio, and then everyone would freak out. But the thing is, baby formula and protein powder and a lot of that stuff would say, and the LRN never said, or would never consider a protein kit as a viable test. So you're doing it in the field, and you're taking it over there, and you say, well, it's a protein. And they're like, okay, so what?
So some skin flaked off in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, the progression that we've gone through, and, just in our area, what was so funny is we actually made like 3 trucks that's all they did is run on white powder calls. And that's how ridiculous it was, and how many came through, because they were so freaking out. And guys were sitting on trucks for 8 to 10 hours a day, just sitting waiting for a white powder call. That's unbelievable for the most part.
It is. But the threat has changed significantly. Whereas every single one of those white powder calls and all the copycats that came from the NBC building and from everything that happened post 9/11, they were all really bioweapon anthrax focused. Whereas now I think the focus is less that anthrax terrorism and is more that F word that we're not allowed to say. Otherwise, you just magically are exposed to it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So
absolutely.
we've not only shifted our technology, but we've also shifted what our target, what our threat is, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's almost like the soup of the day. It changes. It does change, in that we're to a point where now they're getting more sophisticated with it, and it's probably easier. I mean, not probably. It is easier. It's easier to get the F word than it is to get the A word.
Right.
Or
a lot, and it's actually probably deadlier. I mean,
you know what? I would agree. I would totally agree.
Not as like a skin absorber. Let's like make sure we're not right. Like that's got to, you're talking about getting it in you, right? Let's not go down. Let's not go down the cop route where like, oh my God, this hit my hand, I'm going to die. But as far as like actual ingestion, our targets changed. The technology changed. The targets changed. And I think you're right. I think we have to be very careful becoming laxed with the technology, with just taking it as it is what it is, and guaranteeing that is what it is, and not understanding the flaws of the machine, the pros and the cons of the technology, where it succeeds, where it falls, where is it good for trace, is it good for bulk, where's its concentration threshold, is it going to get screwed up if it's mixed in with other chemicals, because now you're talking about an entire class of meters that are really focused just on spectrums, and spectrums can be thrown off very easily by contamination. Spectrums can be thrown off very easily by professionally made versus, if I make it at home, it's going to come up with different spectrums. So, while they are great machines, we need to understand the limits of the technology, and also understand that, things can skirt around a negative just as easily as things can skirt around a positive hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say one thing, that if your department does get a threat, and it's a credible threat, the note, and it's at a, whatever it's, a court office, abortion clinic, a politician's office, or whatever, you have to go through the motions. If it's there, you have to, even though in the back of our mind we're going, this is probably nothing, because it always is. But the fact that we are public servants and we have all the technology that we have, and they trained us to do this stuff, you have to make it look basically like a show. I mean, not for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and you do. And this is the issue that we had during that 908 issue that we had, where we came up with an explosive in a hotel room, is that we had so many factors that said, yes, you have to push this forward. And then when it turned out to be nothing, there was a lot of pushback from the NYPD and ESU about, what a shit job we did, and how we took something that didn't exist and pushed it up. And I can say all this now because I don't get paid by them anymore. So
technically you do.
No, I get paid by the state.
Okay.
So, and that instance really annoyed me, because it turned around and people failed to recognize what our job is. And our job is to say there is a potential here. Right? It is not to say, yes, we have something. No, we have something. That's what all the alphabets that come in afterwards, your ATF, your FBI, your X, Y, and Z, they're the ones that will come in, take it to a lab and go, yes, I'm confirming this is what we have. Our job is not to do that. Our job is to sit there and go, there is a possibility that this is something. We need to call somebody in to deal with it. That is our job. And just like the court system was designed, that one innocent person, that we'd rather 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person go to jail. We would rather 10 false positives where we called in the FBI, we called in the ATF, we called in people, and they were like, yeah, no, you got nothing, than to let one slip through the cracks.
Right.
And if you can't have the balls to understand that, and you can't articulate that when a decision that you've made is being pushed back against, then you shouldn't be in the position to make that decision.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's what our job is. That's what we're here for. And, we got to go through it. That's what we're getting grant money for, and the training and whatnot. So put it out there and consider it. Yeah, there's a possible potential here. And it's not going to slow down. It ramps up with a lot of times with copycat stuff. It kind of goes in waves, so you can kind of see it coming occasionally.
Well, and the big thing too is you got to be able to size up the scene. If somebody's having immediate signs, and we'll just talk about bios for a second. If somebody's having immediate signs and symptoms, it's probably not a bio.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like with that F word. If all of a sudden everybody and their brother is passing out just because they walked in an area, and their signs and symptoms are not indicative of an opioid type situation,
Yeah.
So it's like the 30 correction officers that passed out. Not all of them passed out, but several did, because it was that, F word and in the powder, and it wasn't his baby powder. So, you gotta match.
Well, it identified the babies.
Well, it could have been, anyway. Anyway. Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys got anything else before we wrap it up?
I don't.
All right.
No.
I think, let's see, we got one more, maybe two more before Massachusetts, right? We got July and or August, September. So we got two more shows before the conference. And then the conferences are really going to start winding down. And I think there's a couple more after that here and there. But
There's really just Massachusetts and then the Hazmat Instructors Conference.
and then they have Hot Zone. I think it's in October.
Oh, is Hot Zone in? Oh, yes, yeah. We're not allowed at Hot Zone.
Frost has his in Indiana, I think, in November. I think so. There's a couple more before the end of the year, but at any rate, oh wait, you have some special news, Michael. We forgot to talk about.
Oh, do I?
Something new possibly coming out. New. There might be
new with the show.
There's something with the shows.
We've got lots of.
Throw out the teaser.
All right. We've got lots of new stuff. We are totally revamping the look of the show, the feel of the show.
Not this show, guys.
Not this show. The podcast. Yeah, the podcast. And we're kind of playing with our logos, and we have brought some people on board to help us out and to help bring.
He's very pretty.
He is very pretty. Brian is a phenomenal catch, and we welcome him on board with open arms, and we are. We're hoping to do great things. So I guess that's about as much of a teaser as I have.
Job.
And
so
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We got really good stuff on the horizon.
Indeed you do. For those of us that are privy, stay tuned. So with that,
see you next Tuesday.
Bob Koshignano, aka the Kosh, Jeff Zintek, Mike Monaco, and as he just said, see you next Tuesday.